Hi guys, it's AJIAEGI. So for today's video, I'm finally going to do the very requested full face of focallure. With some of the items that you guys have been asking, I was finally able to get my hands on the COVERMAX cushion. So yeah, with everything, I was able to come up with this look. I used lots of multi-use items, like I used the brow liners for the eyeliner as well. I used an eyeshadow palette to bronze my face as well as to blush. I was actually holding off on doing a full face of focallure because although I have lots of focallure items like lipsticks, eyeshadows, but I don't actually have other items like for brows, powder. This is actually a legit full face of focallure, except the lashes of course. But yeah, it's actually really cute, very red, very poppin'. You guys know how much I love focallure. Again, this video was not sponsored. I just really like their brand. Focallure is actually one of the brands that I went to after I stopped using knockoffs or like fake makeup when I started. For a long time I was using those kind of eyeshadows, then I discovered focallure on Shopee, and then this happened. So yeah, if you want to see how I achieve this makeup look, then just keep watching. So the BLURMAX primer, I was actually pleasantly surprised that it worked. I was kind of traumatized with the 020 primer. It had the same claims as the BLURMAX primer and it was absolute shit. I kind of lowered my expectations for this product, but it actually works, and it did have that very slippery feeling. It did give my skin a good base to apply the cushion. The COVERMAX cushion was actually pleasantly surprising as well. Most cushions that I've tried before have a very sheer, dewy finish, but the COVERMAX primer has actually a decent amount of coverage in it. I would describe the finish as a satin matte. Like, it does leave some glow to the face, but it does not leave you looking like a glazed donut. But one thing that I want to talk about is that the shade range is not so wide. It only has, I believe, 4 shades. I got the darkest one and I think it was still a little too light for me, so I hope they expand their shade range because the packaging and the performance of the product is really well. I'd love for darker skinned people to be able to try this. Next, I tried on Focallure Face Contour Stick. It is a contour stick in the sense that it does add dimension to the face, but when you consider the color, it is very warm toned. It works well as more like a cream bronzer. You don't really need a lot of product because it's very pigmented. Also, it's very creamy. It's not like those other contour sticks that has like tugs on the skin and disturbs the foundation underneath. It's nothing like that. Also, it's very blendable. I like it. Next is the Focallure Liquid Concealer. Now, this is a very regular concealer. There's really nothing special about it. I like it just the way I like most of the affordable concealers that I already have from different brands. It did way too much of a good job at brightening my face. I think it's because I got a shade too light. I didn't expect 02 to be so light, but yeah, it brightened my face. It did really well to highlight the high points of my face, and it does cover up the dark circles that I have quite well, so yeah. Next is the Flawless Loose Setting Powder. You guys know how much I love this. I used this way before I started receiving any PR. It's a very fine milled powder. It's very nice, but although it's translucent, it does leave a white cast, so I prefer using it on the high points of the face just to add extra brightness for it. And so for the outside of the face, I used this COVERMAX cake pressed powder. I don't use pressed powder that much, especially those with skin tones, but this is actually really nice. This is really good, really matte. If I were to describe the coverage of it, I would say it has kind of like the coverage of Fit Me, the liquid foundation of Fit Me, with slightly less coverage. You can use it just as a powder foundation and it would work very well. I would prefer using this on top of foundation just because I have lots of dark marks and veins on my face. Next is the smooth eyeliner gel. I wasn't actually aware that it's called eyeliner gel. On their page, on the Shopee page, it was marketed as a eyebrow pomade, like a multi-use pomade, but it is called the eyeliner gel. This is really nice. It's pigmented, and it's not slippery, and it's not oily. I like it. I might end up using it. I also actually really like the ashy neutral brown color. While using the pomade, I remembered they sent me the brow soap, which I wanted to try, but I don't know how to use it. So I tried to follow what I saw on the internet of wetting it and then making a paste-like mixture before brushing it on the hair. I used it to emphasize the hairs on the front of my brows towards the inner part, and it could be very good, but I just think I'm very inexperienced with using brow soap because I don't have the right features up for it. Brow soaps are usually used by people with like thick eyebrow hair. Mine is very thin and very sparse, and it's very stubborn, so yeah, it actually is really helpful at making the hair stay in place. But yeah, I think I might have to continue using it to be able to really give a proper review on it. Next is the focallure Go Travel CHONGQING palette. Here are the swatches. Overall, it has 15 shades, it has 7 mattes, 5 shimmers, and 3 pressed glitters. They're all very creamy and pigmented. It does have kickback, so yeah, that's one thing to note, but honestly I kind of expected that it would have kickback because it is very pigmented. That's just a small thing to sacrifice for having good eyeshadow. I wasn't able to use any of the glitters for the look that I did, but all the glitters are actually like really nice. The type of glitters that these Go Travel palettes have are not the glitters that you would need glitter glue for. They actually stick to the skin pretty well. Next for mascara, I got the STAYMAX waterproof lash primer and mascara. It's 2-in-1. So the smaller one with the smaller wand is called the lash primer. It's regular. I mean, it leaves the eyelashes feeling a little stiff. That's really all the impression that I got on it. As for the mascara, when you use it on top of the lash primer, it does make the lashes look thicker, darker. I'm not exactly sure if they look longer, but it did not weigh my lashes down. Like they did have that extra lift to it, so yeah, consider me impressed. For the bronzer, they did not send me anything, but I do have the Prague palette from the Go Travel series, which has warm browns in it, so I used the shade Rosine as a bronzer shade. And then for the blush, of course, I used the eyeshadow as a multi-use blush color. I think I used the shade Hot Pot. just to match the red on my eyes. Next, for the contour, I use the Focallure Sculpt and Glow. It's a 2-in-1 palette. I got the lightest one, which is Maui and Opal. Honestly, for my skin tone, it works really well. You guys know how much I like this. And honestly, like, it's so hard to find contour that's actually cool toned. Like, actually gray and not just a neutral brown. So yeah. And then I used this highlighter. It's called the COVERMAX highlighting powder. The shade I would describe is very similar to the highlighter that I have from Stay Genius, as well as the one that Pink Flash has, the yellow golden one as well. It's not that reflective, but this does have that like really pretty glow, especially for your skin tones that are as yellow as mine. This does give your skin that very healthy looking glow. Although it has that very aggressive yellow golden shimmer, when you tilt your face, you don't have that yellow streak on your cheekbone. So yeah, this passes the test. It's a thumbs up. I actually really like them. They're very good, very thin, and they do have that velvet effect. I would compare the texture and the consistency of this lipstick as similar to that of Go-Go Teals, the Go-Go Teals Velvet Lipstick. It has the same kind of blurring effect on the lips. It's very pigmented, but it's also very buildable. Once you put them on, because they're velvet, they will dry matte. They don't reflect off as much shine as a regular cream lipstick would. They're very comfortable on the lips, very nice. So that's the makeup look. I hope you guys liked it. I'm not surprised that I liked all of the products that I have from Focallure. I think after discovering more of their complexion products, I stayed away from their Skin Evolution foundation because their shade range, not popping. I'm so glad that I finally got my hands on this CHONGQING palette. This is another palette from the Go Travel series. I was looking for this. I was initially planning to buy this along with the Prague and Turkey palette, but when I was checking Shopee, they still did not have this in stock. I really like how versatile this palette is, as well as the other stuff. Granted, I did not know how to work with the brow soap, but I think it's okay. So yeah, that's the makeup look. I don't really have much to talk about other than the fact that I really like it and I really like Focallure as a brand. They're one of the brands that are coming out with high quality products, especially at the price point that they have. Their eyeshadow, their complexion products especially, really good. So yeah, that's it for this makeup look. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you like me, make sure to follow me on all of my social medias. And if you want to see more content like this, then consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Comment down below what item you liked from this whole brand and what brand you want to see me do a full face on next. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!